Hello, today we are going to look at our exam review for chapters 3 and 4. So let's get started. The first question asks us to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, and the nice thing is they're giving us the slope and they're giving us the y-intercept. If you recall, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You have to know m and b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept, so we're just filling these in. Y equals negative 3 fourths x, and it's negative 2, so it's minus 2. All right? Let's take a look at number 2. So we got a few different types of examples here. We want to find the x and y-intercepts of each equation. I notice right away this is in slope-intercept form, and so that gives me the y-intercept. So for A, the y-intercept is 7. And then if I want to find the x-intercept, I got to plug in 0 for y. 0 equals negative 2x plus 7. And then I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. That's going to give me negative 7 equals negative 2x. Then I'm going to divide by 2. And I am getting, negative 2. And I'm getting 7 halves equals x for the x-intercept. All right. So again, to find the x-intercept, where our line crosses the x-axis, I plug in 0 for y, because anytime the y-coordinate is 0, we are on the x-axis. All right. So B is going to be very similar. We already know the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 3, and then I'm going to plug 0 in for y to get the x-intercept. So subtract 3 from both sides. I'm going to multiply now by the reciprocal of 3/4. So that's how I move a fraction across the equals sign. And 4 and 4 cancel, and the 3 and 3. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. All we have left is x equals. This is the x-intercept. This is what we're looking at. 4 divided by 3 times negative 3. These 3's cancel out, and negative times 4 is negative 4 is the x-intercept on this one. Oops. And then D, or C, I'm sorry. This one's what we're kind of maybe a little more familiar with. So I'm going to find the x-intercept first. I'm going to plug 0 in for y, which just eliminates that 9y. 9 times 0 is 0. So really the x-intercept just gives me that, and I divide both sides by 12. And x equals, I can reduce that fraction. They both have a common factor of 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 5/4 is the x-intercept. On a multiple choice, make sure you convert that. That's 1 and 1/4. I'm not sure if you'll have to do it that way. 5/4 might be a perfectly good answer. And then if I want to find the y-intercept, I got to plug 0 in for x. 0 in for, x. So that eliminates my x, and I get 9y equals 15. Divide both sides by 9. Again, they have a common factor of 3, and that's 5/3, or 1 2/3. So if you're looking for a multiple choice answer, they'd be here and here, or possibly here and here. All right, and then D, similar to C, I'm going to find the x-intercept. I'm plugging 0 in for y, which eliminates it, and that leaves me with that. And I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 12. 24 divided by 2 is 12. And then plug in 0 for x. 3y equals 24. Divide both sides by 3, and I get y equals 8, the y-intercept, the x-intercept. Okay, number 3, point slope form and slope intercept of each line. So we are going to use the point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That will be given to you on the front of your exam. And we are plugging that in for x1, that in for y1, and that in for m. And that will give us this portion of the problem. Okay? So y minus 9 equals negative 2 times x minus 1. So I'm done with that, and then I got to get slope-intercept, so I'm going to distribute, and then I'm going to move the 9 over. So that's going to give me y minus 9 equals negative 2x plus 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Then I add 9 to both sides, and I'm going to get y equals negative 2x plus 11. That's an x. So here is the second part of that. All right. We'll do the same thing here. We're going to plug these into this equation. So negative, y plus 5. Let me clean that up. Y plus 5 equals, it's plus because we have negative y in the formula, but y is already negative, so two negatives make a positive. All right, and my slope is 3/4 x plus 4 for the same reason, because that's negative. I'm going to distribute. That's going to give me y plus 5 equals 3/4 x, and then plus 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, or 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So either way, it works out nice. I subtract 5, and I get y equals 3/4 x minus 2. All right. Some of us are struggling with adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. Remember, you'll be able to use a calculator on the exam, so if you have to, always check. Try it in your head, see if you're doing these right, and then check it with your calculator. You don't want to lose a point because you forgot a sign or you missed a sign. Write each in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c have to be integers, no fractions. Okay, and a should be positive. So let's do that. What we need to do to this problem is distribute. So we have y minus 4 equals negative 3x plus 9. And remember, I got to get the x's on the same side, preferably this being positive, and the constants away from it. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And that gives me 3x plus y minus 4 equals 9. And then I'm going to add 4 to both sides to get the constant away from the x and the y's. So that's going to give me 3x plus y, ooh, I can barely see that, there we go, equals 13. In standard form, or x and y are on the same side. Both the coefficients are integers, so 3 and 1. You can write 1y if you want to, and then our constant is not a fraction as well. All right. B, same type of problem. We're going to distribute. Y plus 9 equals 2x plus 10. This time, though, I'm going to move the y this way because I want to keep my ax, positive. So I'm going to subtract y from both sides. That's going to give me 9 equals 2x minus y plus 10. And I'm going to subtract 10. And a lot of people might do this in one shot. So they might subtract 10 at the same time they're subtracting y. It'll save you this step, but it doesn't really matter how you do it. And I'm going to write, this is the negative 1, 9 minus 10. I'm going to write that on the right side. So 2x minus y equals negative 1. So there's my answer for that. All right, now we're going to write equation in standard form for the line that passes through 6, 2, and 2, 3. So we got to go point slope, and then we got to do what we just did here. So a little extra work here. Y minus 2 equals 2/3 times x minus 6. Distribute, which this will work out nice because the denominator is 3, so that'll give us a decent number for the constant anyway. So we're going to have y minus 2 equals 2/3 x minus 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. All right. We got a few issues here. We got to move the y over, move the 4 over, and we got to get rid of that fraction. So I'm going to do the minus y and the plus 4 in the same step. So my y is gone here. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2. I'm going to write that on the right. And my variable side, 2/3 x minus y. All right. Now I got to get rid of that 3, and all I have to do is multiply everything by 3, and that will get rid of that denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything by 3. Okay. And 2/3 of 3 is 2. Minus 3y, I'm going to run it home, equals 6. 2 minus 3y equals 6, and that was number 5. So that's probably the most difficult problem we've seen on that first page so far. You have to know point slope, you have to distribute, you have to do some algebra to get the x's and the y's on the same side, and then you had to multiply by the denominator to get rid of all of the fractions. All right, solving systems. So we got a few different ideas here. Problem A is the easiest type of problem because both equations equal y, so they equal each other. All right, so essentially I'm going to put the 10 minus x into that y. That's the substitution. Okay, that leaves me with x minus 10 equals negative 12. I'm going to add 10 to both sides, and that gives me x equals negative 2. But remember, when you solve a system, you need to get the y value as well. The good news here, though, is that it's already solved for y. It doesn't happen very often. Y equals negative 12. You could also plug negative 2 into here. Negative 2 minus 10 is negative 12. So we would have got negative 12 either way. And we usually write that with an ordered pair. All right. B is almost the same thing. We're going to take what y equals, because one of these equations is solved for x or y. That's a good thing. So we can substitute right away. We don't have to manipulate either of the functions yet. And then we're going to write 4x plus 2 times x plus 12 equals 27. All right. And remember, we distribute, combine like terms, and then we're going to get into our algebra. So 4x plus 2x plus 24 equals 27. So combine like terms, 4x and 2x is 6x. And plus 24 equals 27. I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides, and that leaves me with 6x equals 3. Divide by 6, and I get x equals 1/2. So that's part of it. And I'm going to plug 1/2 into here because it's already solved for y, and I need a y. So 1/2 plus 12 is 12.5. I'm okay with that. All right. I should probably check that just to make sure. Half of 4 is 2, and then the other one was 12.5. So 24 and 125 and 2 is 27. So yeah, this is correct. I just did a little mental math to check that. All right, and then this is the same kind of problem. It's already solved for y, so I can take whatever y equals and put it into y in the other equation. Remember, the key here is that we write our new equation and it only contains one variable. So a lot of kids will just write 2x plus 5 next to 3y, but you need to get rid of the y. You are substituting y for 2x plus 5. So now I have one equation with one variable, and now we can solve it. So distribute and combine like terms. 6x and 10x is 16x. I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. That's going to give me 4. Ooh, another fraction. When I divide by 16, I'm going to get x equals 1/4. And again, I'm going to use that here. 1/4 of 2, I've got to hurry this up. 1/4 of 2 is 1/2, and 1/2 plus 5 is 5.5. All right, so that's my y, and so 1/4 and 5.5. All right, just a few more problems. Okay. Together, Jake and Travis have 49 Xbox games. To me, that means J plus T equals 49. And then Jake has, that's essentially an equal sign. Jake has 11 more than Travis. So this is a substitution problem. I'm going to take this 11 plus T and substitute it for J. So 11 plus T plus T equals 49. T and T is 2T equals, I'm going to subtract 11 right now. Sorry, I got to do this one a little faster. That's 38. Divide by 2, and I'm going to get T equals, half of 30 is 15, half of 8 is 4, so 15 and 4 is 19. T equals 19. Jake has 11 more, so 20. Jake has 30. And 30 plus 19 is 49, so we got it right. All right, I will finish these up in just a bit. All right, our last story problem. It states the length of a rectangle is, and I know when I see the word is, I'm thinking equals. So the length is 3 meters more than the width. So I got L equals 3 plus W. And then the second sentence is our second equation. The perimeter, which I know perimeter is 2L plus 2W, is 26. So again, this is a substitution problem. We're going to substitute 3 plus W for L. So 2 times 3 plus W plus 2W equals 26. And now notice that we have one equation with one variable. So I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. 2W and 2W is 4W plus 6. That's positive 6. So plus 6 equals 26. Subtract 6. I'm going to get 4W equals 20. And W equals 5. I divided both sides by 5. And then I'm going to find the length by plugging it into here. 3 plus 5. So the length is 8. All right.